Hi, everybody. I'm Dakeem Lyles, and welcome to Casting Directors Say What? Each month, I spotlight an amazing casting director in the industry, big and small. A lot of what we do as casting directors is misunderstood, and I hope that with this series, I can shine a light on all the wonderful, hardworking CDs out there who help make others' dreams a reality. You know, we work really hard to bring your dream to life, like GE. And today I have an amazing guest, someone who I work with and I've known for a few years now. And let's all meet her. Tell me, what's your name?
I'm AlisonFranck, and I'm from Franck Casting, and I'm an independent casting director, and I cast mostly tours of musicals, mainly non-union tours, but some are union as well. And I also do other things like readings and workshops and stuff like that. But mainly my main source of income is non-union tours of musicals.
Oh, awesome. Well, listen, thank you so much for being here. I love being able to talk to you and spotlight you and all the hard work that you do. So let's get into some rapid questions, all right? First
Okay.
and foremost, how'd you get started in casting?
I was an intern at a theater, a non-union theater in Memphis, Tennessee.
Mhm.
And I was there for 2 years, and most people there, they're acting interns or stage management interns, whatever. And I ended up as an acting intern. You also had a job in either the costume shop, the scene shop, or the administrative offices. And since I don't sew, and I'm probably not going to be good in the scene shop, although that probably would have been better than sewing, I ended up in the administrative offices where I worked in the box office. I did subscriptions and I answered the phone a lot.
Oh, that sounds fun.
I know. And I also helped with casting. So like the artistic director was there, and we became close, and I give him ideas for casting, like, oh, maybe you should do this instead of this, and maybe you should hire me instead of this person. It was a little bit self-involved, of course, because I was
Of
still an
course.
actor. But I really did help with the audition, setting it up, like scheduling, and I started watching the auditions. I was sometimes the reader, whatever. And I also learned like what was inappropriate for children to sing and stuff
Mhm.
like that. And because I have a degree in musical theater, I'm pretty good at just sort of scheduling it, understanding what the actors needed, music wise, sides wise, and just how to schedule it. So I started falling in love with it from that perspective. But I thought when I moved to New York, I would either become an agent or a casting director, but I wanted to give the acting thing a try first, because that's what I did. So
Yeah.
I started auditioning, and I got my equity card, and I started touring the country, and I hated packing a bag every day, and I had a cat, and I didn't want to leave my cat at home, and I was like, well, what else can I do? So I decided to start looking for an internships in either agenting or casting, and I ended up getting mostly looking in casting first. I don't know why. I just
Mhm.
felt, oh, I know why. My brother's girlfriend at the time was an agent. No, she was a casting director. Sorry. She was a casting director, and she gave me a bunch of leads so I could
Oh,
write to people right away, because back then we didn't have the internet, and we didn't have like email.
we had that book though. What was that book
Oh
that
yeah,
we
Ross
had?
Reports. It's now
Yeah.
called something else.
Uh-huh.
Oh God, I can never remember what it's called now. And I always tell people to use it. And I go, it's something I can't remember.
I'm
Um,
gonna have to look into that though.
yeah, it's something else. It's called something else, but it's casting sheet or
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
call sheet.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah,
what it's
yeah.
called. Call sheet. Whew. Anyway, that led me to an internship with Johnson Lift Casting and also Lynn Kressel Casting. So I was interning at 5 days a week at 2 different offices. And then one of them ended up
Smart.
hiring me after a few months, like almost 7 months.
Wow, that's crazy. You know, some of us have such similar stories because I was an intern too, and I was about to leave, and then they were like, "You want to work here?" So, it's crazy that journey because there's no school that we can go to learn any
Not,
of
I
this.
think there's some places that teach it. Even my alma mater might even have a degree in it, which is Syracuse or
Oh,
something like that. I'm
wow.
not sure if that ever happened, but prior to that, no way. You had to
Yeah.
learn by interning or just like maybe being a reader and being like, hey, would you ever need help around here or something like that? But that wasn't my journey. Was like, I want to be a cast. I want to see what casting is. And a lot of times people get into casting because they want to help their acting career.
That's how I got into it.
That wasn't even that was not really in my mind. And I wanted to make sure and prove that over and over and over again. So if they'd be like, hey, do you want to audition for this? I'd be like, no, I'm good. So it kind of became clear that I was more interested in casting. I think I really wanted to take a break and really try. And I never went back to acting.
Yeah, because see, that was my next question, which was why casting? What do you love about this side of the industry?
I think it's just like I think I was built for it, if that makes any sense. I'm a little bit of a busybody. I have what I think is a photographic memory for, I don't know how, if it's still, I mean, I'm getting old, so it's hard for me to like really determine if it's my brain or not. But I remember things. I remember just how people are, like their idiosyncrasies. Because I'm not about type as much as I'm about like, who's going to be interesting in this role, right? Type to me literally lives in one spot. It's age. Otherwise, I can't, I don't think there's like a leading lady type that we can pin it. There used to be an ideal of that. That's changed. And I'm glad. For the record, I'm glad.
So now
I just love like thinking about like where people go, and like when I'm working on a project, it's the search. It's fun, right?
Yeah. That's it. It's the creative side. I tell people every day I come in, and especially when we were back in studio, it was always like, ooh, what creative thing are we going to do today? You know, it was never the same. Even when some of the castings had similarities, so, biting smiles, and you're not just doing anything, just come in and talk, I'm going to record, even that, you still got to figure out how you're going to shoot it and how you're going to direct people in a way so you can get what they want and then get them out of the room,
Because it's like, because I worked in commercials as well. And I remember there was like this moment where I was like, oh, I'm in control of this. Like that's a bit more, I mean, to be fair, a lot of people think commercial casting, I think commercial casting gives the casting directors more responsibility in not just finding the talent, but like coaching the talent.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily what you do in theater, because there's usually a director involved. And I personally, if there's a director who's constantly around, which usually is the case for me, if I give the wrong information, that's messing up the actor's audition. Right? With commercials, the director kind of comes in last minute and makes decisions, and it's never like they can change whatever you've done, but like you're going to really be helping them, because usually you have more information than anybody.
Yeah, one of my things is when I'm doing a callback, I always say sometimes like directors can be dismissive of you. And I'm like, they don't really understand that the reason of why they're calling back the people that they've called back is because we gave them the direction and work with them to get to the performance that they then are receptive to. But they just think, oh, you didn't do anything. And I'm like, no, the reason why that person is there, because I did the work.
Right.
Now, what is your perspective on the current state of the casting industry right now, and what should actors understand about it now? Because it's a lot different from 2019 to 2023.
Right. I mean, obviously the new, and I don't even want to say trends, because I think it's actually, I'm still trying to decide if it's permanent or not, is the self-tape.
Yeah, me too.
Self-tape. And I had been doing it for years because I was casting so much non-union. There would be people that I'd want to meet and see who couldn't come to the audition in person because they lived in California or Florida or Ohio or whatever. So I would have them self-tape. And, you would ask maybe 80 people to self-tape, and I might get 20, get 20. Now it's more people are doing it, but the same situation occurs that so if you don't send in that self-tape, you're not getting that job. And that as an actor now, like you didn't used to, I think you always knew that, but it's like, there's this point where I'm like, the deadline is this day, I'm giving you a week, or I'm giving you a week and a half, or whatever kindness I'm giving them. And then the day before, when they tell me, oh my God, can you extend the deadline? And I'm always like, guys, really? but I will in certain cases because I'm still waiting. The worst part is when they ask for the extension and they don't send it.
Oh my goodness.
I'm
It's
like, oh
just
my
like
God, I'm
you're
waiting
making
all
my
day
job
for
so hard right
nothing.
now.
Yeah. So look, I don't mind if you don't want to do it, just immediately jump to me and tell me passing, or I'm not available, or I just don't have time for this, or this is what can you do, or you're interested, but I need a little bit more time. And maybe you can, you know, whatever. Like there's many ways that, around missing an opportunity, but I have to know you're interested, you know, and that's the one thing that I think is great and bad about this. Like, so it's great that I immediately get to see people's auditions.
Mhm.
You know, if I give, because a lot of people will immediately send it.
Yeah.
But the worst part is that I don't know who's not going to send it.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I'm waiting for at times. Like if I
Right.
think I'm still waiting and I don't find what I'm looking for, I might send out another breakdown. Even
Yeah.
more as a do, because I'm like, I'm freaking out,
Yeah.
you know, so there's that, you
Uh,
know, but I think directors just need to be prepared to do self-tapes. And I want to let you know, you can do it yourself.
yeah.
You just need to do it. I want to say it one more time, just do it. Because if you don't do it, we don't know you, right?
Right.
So if you're afraid of it, or you feel like you don't have the right setup, you just need an iPhone and some kind of, you know, tripod for it. There's special tripods for it, a ring light maybe, or just find good daylight, a blankish wall. You can
Mhm.
buy those backgrounds if you want to, but you know, just have a wall that you don't have stuff on it,
Right.
and have a little corner. And if you have a friend who has a great setup, get, you know, do help out with them. You can read for them and they can film for you and read for you, you know, like have a way to do it so you're not lost, you know, so
Right.
you're not, just give yourself the opportunity. A, you're going to get better
And the
at it.
visibility.
A, you're going to get better at it, and B, you've got nothing to lose. Either you're going to get it or you're not.
Right. And
And
the
if you
industry
don't,
has to know that you're out there,
yeah,
or we're
yeah.
not going to call you for anything.
I also think have a website, have some footage on there if you can. I think for singers, you've got the opportunity of a lifetime to self-tape your songs. I mean, just self-tape your songs, because then they're ready to go. I mean,
Yeah.
and redo them, you know, like, oh, I sing different now, or this is my new audition song, go and refilm it. If you want to spend the money on that, if there's something I suggest you spend money on, get a reel of your songs put together.
Yeah.
Have a YouTube channel that you control, have a TikTok channel that you control, or a TikTok channel, is that even what you call it?
I don't know.
An Instagram account that you just do, post whatever you want to do it.
Right.
If you're in control of it, you're going to save yourself the trouble of them Googling you and finding that one video that you did one drunken night at Don't Tell Mamas. And you don't want that.
No, you don't. Now, my next question, as a casting director, what's one misunderstanding about being a casting director that drives you crazy?
What's one thing about being a casting director that drives me crazy?
Yeah, the misunderstanding about.
Oh, well, the
about being,
misunderstanding number one is they think we're agents.
right.
That's the number one thing. The other thing that drives me crazy is they think we make the decisions.
Yeah.
Those two things are, like, to understand, like, in a nutshell, what a casting director does. We facilitate the audition process. We do not sign actors. We do not represent actors. We sometimes have actors we really like. Of course, we call them our clients as a joke, but they're not clients and we don't represent them.
Right.
And the other thing is assuming that we cast them. Now, occasionally I have cast things myself. Usually it's, I have a reading tomorrow. Can you find 6 people to do this?
Mhm.
I trust you. That happens.
Mhm.
And that's it. Like usually, and there's obviously we're making decisions on who we're bringing in.
Mhm.
Do make those decisions. We
Yes.
may bring everybody in and then watch 1,000 self-tapes and decide these are the best people.
Yeah.
To show the producers or the directors or whatever.
Now, what advice would you give actors when it comes to networking? This is kind of a 3-part question. 1, do you like to be contacted?
Yes.
2, how do you like to be contacted?
My email, alison.franck@gmail.com or alison@franckcasting.com. It all goes to the same place. I will say
Mm-hmm.
I prefer to be contacted about a specific job
Mm-hmm.
rather than a general email, because I don't know what to do with a general email. I usually read it and then I go, okay. If I know who the person is, it's interesting to me. If I don't know who the person is, it's not bad. Like, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
mad about it. It doesn't bother me. I'm a casting director. I get it. But it would be in your best interest to really focus on the jobs you want rather than trying to generally contact us, because we are
Yeah.
not, now with the internet, it's really hard for us to focus on
Yeah.
that. We're focused on the job at hand. I
Yeah. When
think
I get those emails,
time,
I just put them in a file.
yeah, I have a file, I have a Gmail file that says
Mm-hmm.
actor submissions, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but I have like a, you know, back in the day when we used to get things mailed to us,
Mm-hmm.
I'd keep them and have like I'd have like a because it would be postcards, and if they wrote like a really nice note, I'd keep them. And
Mm-hmm.
I had this like chain ring of it. It was sweet, but that was a different time, you know, like getting
Yeah.
mail was a different time. That was when I had an office, and we know we just pull people out and we'd have a pile. And sometimes that person would get a call in because it's like, oh, remember this guy? Just randomly, because we're like looking for something. We're like, let's go through the pile, you know, and that might
Mm-hmm.
be good. I could do that with my submissions from actors, but I haven't needed to.
Yeah.
I
So
should.
maybe we both should, right?
I should, yeah.
So now we're getting down to the end. What is some realistic advice that you have for actors who decide to make this a career choice? Like, realistically, if they want to do this, like, just one thing that you're like, listen, realistically, this is how you should think about entering this career.
I think you have to be incredibly um patient and focused. And
Mhm.
those are the two things I would say. So like, understand that every audition isn't going to get you the job, but it could get you the next audition if you're prepared, right? Always be prepared. I know that sounds silly. I know that sounds like, well, you hear it all the time. What does that mean? It means have enough, if you're doing what I do, which is musicals, have great songs, have them coached to the, like, don't bring in a song you've never sung with a pianist. So you know the accompaniment, that's easy to do. You just have to coach your material. If you're a dancer, always be in shape, always be up on the styles, always take dance classes. You have to. If you're an actor, continue to take acting classes. You are not stopping to learn once you're out of school. Your education needs to keep going. I'm not saying you need to take 50 acting classes. I'm saying you need to take one, maybe once a year, maybe for a few weeks to get yourself in shape. Work with your friends, do self-tape practice, get it together. But also, when you get an audition, do what you can. Read the script if you can, or watch a version of it on TV if you can, or a musical version. You know, if it's a musical, there's usually a movie version. If it's an old musical, you know, stuff like that. Find YouTube, whatever you got to do. You have more access to these. I used to go to the library to do all this. You don't
Yeah.
have to do that anymore. And so like, these are things that like, you just always need to be online Googling things. I always suggest to actors to look at IMDb, because
Mhm.
that's like my favorite for musical theater, or IMDb for
Mhm.
film and TV and anything else, to know who actors are and to follow careers, but also to figure out where you go. Like, if so-and-so is your, not your type, but you see yourself as that person, or you admire that actor, follow their career, see that they started in the chorus, see where their first debut was, where did they go to school, what, you know, those kind of things, being sort of a nerd about it.
Yeah.
But then for yourself, creating that journey for yourself.
Yeah.
Because I also don't think you should compare yourself to anybody else.
Right.
But being fangirling about people is totally fine.
And getting inspiration from them.
Exactly. Like, I look at someone like Sutton Foster, and I'm just such a huge fan.
Yeah.
Not just because of the whole Millie story, where she started in the chorus and she ended up as Millie, which is so perfect for her. But she also started in the chorus, and she's always worked. And one of the main reasons isn't just because she's incredibly talented, which is obvious. She's
Mhm.
incredibly kind,
Yeah.
and she works really hard.
Yeah.
So like, those are the things that like, I suggest just like, look at that career. And obviously there's other people who fall into that category. I just think of her as that, like, and she merged into television, which is not
Yeah, that
easy for
very
these people.
successful show too.
Yeah. So,
All right, Alison, you got a bonus question. Hold
oh,
on.
goody.
What advice would you give to an upcoming casting director?
Oh, yes. Be a nerd. Also be patient. So like,
Yeah.
if you're going to start an internship and they make you do things like sort headshots, which you probably don't have to do anymore, go online and you know, whatever you have to do for them, do it with a smile on your face and enjoy the journey, because once it becomes your job, the responsibilities are far more stressful than that busy work, you
Oh,
know?
yes.
And yeah, and there's no reason to overly stress, because
Right.
it isn't brain surgery.
It's a commercial. You shouldn't cry. There should be no crying in casting.
Should be no crying in casting. There should be no crying in casting. Occasionally, you may have somebody in this industry who is mean and they're just having a bad day and unfortunately taking it out on you. Don't take it personally. And I know that's hard. I know that's hard to hear.
But
Don't take
it's true, though. It really is true.
Yeah.
It really
Yeah.
is.
I mean, when actors think that the casting director hates them, it's usually because they got an email saying that they just lost an actor in another project.
Exactly.
That means like, we don't have a backup. I can't go to the party tonight, you know, whatever.
Right, because now I gotta work.
Whatever, what is it? Rich people's problems you have. Not that we're rich in casting. By the way, if you're interested in casting, you will not be rich.
Oh yeah, you got to do this because you love it, not because you're trying to be a millionaire.
Exactly.
Alison, thank you so much. Tell me, give us your name and the name of your casting company again.
It's AlisonFranck, and that's Alison with one L, and Frank is spelled Franck. And it's Frank, Franck casting. And my email is alison.frank@gmail.com.
Awesome.
AlisonFranckcasting.com.
Awesome. Everybody, that's a wrap on Casting Directors Say What. For now, we'll see you next month with a new person to talk to and introduce. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks, Alison.